Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Well, Boox has announced their yearly refresh of the devices for this year's Q4, and it's actually quite different. So obviously they're changing their strategy quite a bit on many fronts. So let's check that out. We've had previously some leaks and announcements for Chinese market, but these are actually the devices that are coming out for the Western market. So yeah, the devices that we have coming for this season are the new Leaf 2, Nova Air 2, and an all-new device, Tab Ultra, I believe it's called. So let's check out what we have from the fact sheets, specification sheets, and the press release that Boox has rolled out. Well, let's start with the Boox Leaf 2 to begin with. It is going to be priced at $200 or the equivalent. I don't know what the equivalent is going to be for other currencies as of yet. So roughly it has very similar specifications as the Leaf 1. So it's a 7-inch 300 ppi e-reader, so it doesn't have note-taking capabilities, only touch input. It has an octa-core 2 GHz CPU, 2 GB of LPDDR4 RAM, and it has 32 GB of storage. One really big thing is that this time it is expandable because it has a TF card slot. So that's a very new thing on this device. It also has embedded page turn buttons. One of the things that I didn't like about the design of the previous Leafs, or two main things, was it was a blatant ripoff of like a cheap version, like a cheap knockoff version of Remarkable 2, and I didn't see any reason why it would actually do that. And this one is no longer designed like that, so that's a good thing. But far more importantly, from the rendered images that I can see here, we no longer have that super sharp edge, which I really didn't like on the Leaf 1. It looks like, from the renders at least, that it's a whole new construction, it's a different type of a bucket design, and more importantly, we have beveled edges on the sides, which should make the Leaf 2 a much more comfortable device. I think that it looks very stylish, I think that it looks quite good, but these are just renders, so we will need to have actually one in hand to see what the build quality is like and how does the product render actually translate into the real world. A couple of more improvements on Leaf 2. It now has a G sensor, so auto rotation is there, and it also has a 2000 milliamp battery. So all of these things, I think, make it a much more improved version of an already good reader, but I think they've addressed all of the issues that were present with the Leaf 1 version. The next in line of the newly announced devices is the Nova Air 2, priced at $400 US. It's actually quite pricey for a 7.8-inch device, especially if you consider that you can actually get like a Boox Note Air 2 non-plus version for around $420, $430 if you shop around, and then it's like $30 difference between Note Air 2 and Nova Air 2. Oof, that's gonna be a hard sell. But let's check out what does Nova Air 2 bring to the table for these 400 smackaroons. So we have the same 7.8-inch monochromatic display, 3 GB of RAM, 2 GHz octa-core CPU, so pretty much all the same as it used to be, 32 GB of storage, but it doesn't mention if it's going to be expandable with the TF card slot. So since it was specifically mentioned on Leaf 2, I think that Note Air 2, or Nova Air 2, sorry, is probably not gonna have a TF card slot expandability option. It has a 2000 milliamp battery. Pretty much everything is the same. It doesn't have an accelerometer added. I'm not entirely sure from the specs and everything here if there's any major difference here at all. Maybe it's just using an updated screen, hopefully that's it, but that's not entirely clear from all the information that has been provided here. But on paper at least, Nova Air 2 seems to be like a very, very similar device to Nova Air 1. One obvious difference is that Nova Air 1 was artificially limited to Android 10 because of the internal hardware that it was using. Nova Air 2 comes with Android 11, so that is one of the things that's definitely there, but everything else seems to be very, very close and very, very similar to what Nova Air already has. And then we come to the star of the show, their all new Tab Ultra, which is supposed to be like the biggest and the baddest of them all. It is 10.3-inch display still, and it has the same 227 ppi. So it's already now, it's actually not matching the announced Kindle Scribe's 300 ppi on a 10.2-inch display. Now, what is the Tab Ultra marketed as? It's marketed as an e-paper tablet for users who pursue extremely fluent e-ink experience for professional use. I assume that when they say extremely fluent, maybe smooth or fast experience, e-ink experience for professional use. So what are the major differences between, for example, the Note Air 2 and Note Air 2 Plus and the Tab Ultra? Well, there's a couple of major differences. First one, which is a huge difference, is that Tab Ultra actually is an e-ink device that has a camera on it, a rear camera on it. That puts it firmly into the box of a traditional tablet, and unfortunately as such, it's naturally for other review platforms to compare it to a traditional tablet. So we will see how that plays out. Now, the way it's marketed is turn on the rear camera to take a picture of your document and immediately convert it to text, and the 16 million pixels can capture even the smallest of words. So from that perspective, it does make sense, and this is a smart marketing type of an approach. So, okay, if it is to have like a camera on your device so that you can take a snapshot of a document and instantly convert it to a typed document, and then you can continue working on it and maybe annotate it and work on it, that aspect I do get. So as long as it's focused to be completely aimed at professional type of use like that, and those features that are introduced there are properly functional and they're really, really robust and good, and we're not focusing on snapping pictures and things like that, then this does make sense. What I don't like about it is that you have a camera on your tablet, you have another consumer on your tablet, you have another privacy concern on your tablet, and also it is a protrusion on the back. Your device is not going to be level when it's outside of a cover. So those are things that I'm not a fan of when something like this is introduced to a device. Another thing that's introduced on the Tab Ultra is upgraded refresh rate. Now, what they say is it's equipped with the independent fast refresh graphics chip that features the BSR fast refresh algorithm. Tab Ultra makes web reading on e-ink become more natural. Users can enjoy a seamless reading experience without laggy and hard ghosting when scrolling the web pages. That potentially can be a game changer, and yeah, we'll have to kind of test it out and see how it works in reality. But if it does work as advertised, then that is definitely a significant thing to keep in mind, because it's again going to bridge the gap between the what's perceived as normal e-ink performance and a traditional LCD display. So that's something that has a potential to actually be quite a good thing. Now, another thing is you have an additional processing chip here who's also going to use processing power, which means bigger consumer of energy. And that leads me to the point, which is this monster has a battery capacity of 6,300 milliamps. So I think that the new dedicated graphics processor for that kind of performance that you're talking about, and the camera itself and the processing of images and things like that, those are very, very big energy consumers that are added to a traditionally low consumption platform. So it is actually good to see that we have a massive upgrade of a battery. Like 6,300 milliamps is absolutely massive, but it also means that a massive battery is going to introduce a lot more weight and thickness to the device. And that actually translates, because Tab Ultra is said to be around 480 or 490 grams heavy without the cover. That's quite a bit more than any of the other devices out there, so it's definitely one of the heaviest 10.3-inch e-ink devices out there, but also one of the beefiest ones. Now, as far as the thickness goes, it's a little bit thicker, but not dramatically so than the Note Air at 6.7 millimeters, which is basically 1 millimeter thicker than what we have on the Note Air series. Now, I think that this device is going to be perceived as being a lot more thicker than the Note Air series, simply because the design is completely different. Note Air has those really lovely beveled edges and no actual sharp corners, where Tab Ultra is actually shaped to be very similar to a traditional tablet like my Lenovo Tab 11 Pro, I think, not Ultra, but yeah. And I think that's not such a dramatic thing considering all of the things that you actually get and that massive battery upgrade. Now, specs also get a bump, but not totally massive. So for example, it has same 4 gigabytes of RAM as Note Air 2, for example, but it has like a massive 128 gigabytes expandable storage because it does have a TF card slot as well. So those are things that are definitely different. But if you are geared for full-on production, maybe they should have beefed it up with 6 gigabytes of RAM, because if you're starting to actually deal with really high production loads, and if it's like a professional type of thing, there are certain, granted not often, but there are some situations when 6 gigabytes of RAM will actually be beneficial to a professional set of use case scenarios as opposed to 4 gigabytes of RAM. It also runs the Android 11, it has the 2 GHz octa-core CPU, so all of that kind of stuff is pretty much the same. Dual front light, adjustable, all of that kind of stuff. It has auto rotation, it runs out of the box the Boox version 3.3. It has USB-C, which supports the OTG, which all of these devices actually have that support. Has a support for magnetic stylus and has a support for magnetic case, which is also a keyboard case as well. And that's one of the expandabilities that they're talking about. We haven't seen actually really a lot of things here other than one render on the side, which has like a foot stand thing, or kind of, you know, the standard angled thing, and then there's a keyboard underneath it, and it actually looks okay, but those are all renders. So we need to see the real thing, how it functions, how it's backed up, and how it actually works in reality. But overall, it's a very sleek looking device, but it's taking a very dramatic departure from what we've learned to associate with an e-ink tablet. So now this is more like an Android tablet that has an e-ink screen. And we gotta see how that actually translates into a real world experience, especially with the update 3.3, which has changed again. So we've had 3, 3.1, 3.2, now 3.3. And it's constantly changing. The whole UI is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. So we have to see what is actually going on. So once I actually get my hands on the Tab Ultra, and I am getting a review loan device, is going to come sometime early November, because they told me that the first production units are rolling off in beginning of November. So you can expect a review of the Boox Tab Ultra on my deep guide in early November or mid-November, I guess, when it all gets shipped and everything. So we'll see definitely how it performs and what it brings to the table. And the price is a whopping $600 US. So yeah, it's a whopper on all fronts. It's really massive battery, really massive functionalities, really heavy and really pricey, and has all of these things. So we just gotta see what do we get it as a package, and it really needs to do a lot of things to justify a $600 US price for a 10.3 e-ink device that seems to have still a 227 ppi display. So if you are curious and you want to find out more about the Tab Ultra, then like the video, subscribe to my deep guide, and hit the notification buttons to get notified when new videos come out on my deep guide. I hope you liked the video. Tell me what you think about all of these things, about the new announcements, because there's like no color panels. A lot of us were expecting color panels. I know that I was again expecting a updated like Air version of a 13.3 inch device. We didn't get that. We just got like a complete pivot in a direction where Boox is going. I don't know, I have to see this. On paper, I'm not a fan of the direction where it's going. Of course, it sounds like a magnificently powerful thing, but it's just that the direction is probably not something that I'm interested in, because I have a tablet that does all these things, and my tablet can't do the things that an e-ink tablet can. So we'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm going to reserve judgment, because that dedicated graphics CPU can actually make a difference. So we'll definitely have to wait and see how Tab Ultra comes into play and where it fits in the market of tablets in general. Now we have to talk about that. If you like what I do and you would like to support the channel further, check out the mydeepguide.com/shop, where you can find the My Daily Organizer 2023 is out, and that's a PDF, hyperlinked PDF file that's compatible with all sorts of e-ink tablets and other tablets as well, but the e-ink tablets are the officially supported ones, and that's your like personal or professional yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily organizer that accommodates all of your yearly organizing needs. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!